Welcome back to the GAC, everyone. We have our third and final match, actually the last match of the entire season, coming up right now. We are doing really stinking well on the leaderboard. I believe we're already well within the top 500, which basically means if we win this, we not only get, bragging rights of being top 500, but the rewards are also different for everyone who falls in this rank. So we'll get a little bit more crystals, we'll get a little bit more GAC currency. So that's pretty darn cool. If we lose, we probably still get top 1,000, but yeah, so this is our opponent. His name is Shadow. He's kind of got a fancy spell in there. And Shadow's got a pretty good overall roster. Let's go ahead and check out what he's got going on here. So yeah, this is him. He's the last opponent of our bracket. We did win our other two matches. We won't go too far into detail on those. But yeah, I mean, he has a more well-rounded roster than our last two opponents. Our first opponent had no GAC Omicrons. The next one had 10. This guy has 5, and he has really the 5 good ones other than Wampa, but he does have Star Killer on us. As always, he's got all 6 Galactic Legends. Nothing really new there. We do, once again, just have a slight advantage in mods. We have 120 plus 20s. He doesn't even have 100. We have about 50 plus 15s, and that's our really only advantage. Like I said, he crushes us in relic levels, as most of them do. 378, a little less than the last guy. But yeah, overall, should make for a really good match. That being said, let's go ahead and look at what we set for defense. I'm guessing, yeah, he hasn't attacked it. This is really, really early in the attack phase. So we pretty much kind of settled into a pretty consistent defense of what I want to put down. We did change a few things from last time. So we put down gas, JMK. This JMK, again, is just a check. If you want to put every single GL down and gas and your bounty hunters, then you don't get to clear half the board. So we did that check. He'll probably clear it. I think with what we gave him, he probably can one-shot things. We did swap in Talon because he won't be able to get through it now with troopers, which is kind of nice. Up top, really not a whole lot's different here. I did make sure to take my first order stormtrooper out of here because I think we're going to need a lot of tanks this match. We're going to need a lot of tanks. And I almost brought gas on offense this round because he leaves not the best rating. Did the same with ships that we did last round. I don't want to be using malevolence until they fix this, if they're ever going to fix it. And then he has an R9 Piet, so R8 is really risky to take on offense. And then backwall is just garbage. So really nothing to say there. And then his defense, it's pretty good. It looks good. So there's this. We'll probably just use our Super Jedi against this. I really don't see why not. Then he's got this raid team up here, which this really is gassable. Without Haldo in there to have the interaction with Finn where it's constantly being passed back around. That probably works. And now we're probably going to have to use C against this. We're going to have to take a full team of 5, I think, because I don't want to get knocked with healing immunity from JTR. So that'll be interesting. And this, we'll just use our classic SLKR here, and then we'll have to use GG Nuke. We've done all those counters many times. Most of the time, they work for us. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to the battles here. And we're back now. So we're going to go ahead and hit all these battles. And today's a fun one. I feel like I always say that. If I'm being totally honest, this one was a little exhausting. We'll get to it once we see the back wall. But yeah, this one is a whole lot of fun. So you'll see we're using our normal count here. We're using SLKR versus Lord Vader, and I think it's going really well. They burned their fracture on a zombie that's now dead. We got all the techs out. Our first order stormtrooper standing. Everything honestly looks pretty good here. We're trying the little trick where we put the TM tech on zombie to make sure that she gets turn meter. Doesn't really work because she's got dots. Maul goes, he obliterates first order stormtrooper, but really not a big deal because Lord Vader's not an ult, so we can still revive him. Watt's about to eat it here too. Watt eats it. And now they got through our zombie, and they were able to kill our Daka. Luckily, not that big of a deal because she has zombie revives because Lord Vader is still not an ult. However, he gets ult. Kills both of them. And now we're 1 minute into the battle, or a minute and a half. Nobody's dead, and it's our R7 SLKR versus their entire team. So obviously they pop ult. And from here, instead of doing our normal thing to kind of get as much mastery as possible, I'm just trying to AoE so that we get back to our ult, because I know we can't take a big hit from Vader. We really shouldn't be Fracture by Thrawn, and Maul will definitely rip us apart very, very easily. So I can see Maul has 5 stacks right here. So we just, even though we don't have full ult, we proc it anyways. We just, otherwise, yeah, Maul will just absolutely obliterate us. And luckily the AI is kind of dumb. They burned that right there. So we're still fractured, so that kind of sucks. Because we're not able to get all that crit stuff. But we go ahead and use our 1 AoE. We use the second AoE here again. Things look kind of safe because Maul doesn't have 5 stacks. And Vader burned his Merciless as well. Thrawn also doesn't have fracture, so I'm just... This is such a delicate thing. So we only have 1 turn of ult, and I see that Maul doesn't have a lot of turn meter, even though he's back at 5 stacks. So we take a very calculated risk, don't use the ult, and then pop it. And now it's just Royal Guard and Lord Vader, which, mind you, this is still kind of sketchy because even the 1v1 situation here isn't super great because that Lord Vader is R9, super well modded, and we're R7. So we're in this really sketchy 1v1 where I'm trying to take my time here because you can see he's almost consistently doing enough damage. That dodge really sucked. We were not able to heal because of that dodge, so we're now at kind of a health deficit compared to how he's doing. He's gating us down pretty well on those bigger hits. So we just go ahead and pop ult here just to kind of get some health and protection back so where he can't actually hit us. And as you can see, there's another enemy now besides maybe just Lord Vader killing us. The time is ticking. It's going down, and Lord Vader is not going all the way back up to 100% health. Which means we can't crit him, so we're having to try all this on damage. I just click auto. I'm like, this is going too far. We're not going to get all this. Just click auto, and 0 seconds on the clock. We kill him. I kid you not, I was shaking. Straight up shaking after that battle. It was, ugh. In fact, we had to go out of our typical strategy and actually hit a team on the top wall because I was so stressed. I didn't want to do any of those battles. I wanted to just do an easy one. So as you can see, we kind of chose the easy way out here, and that is using troopers against Mon Mothma. This team really just doesn't fail, and there's really not a lot of variation in how this team is used, albeit it would have been nice to have short trooper for the back wall, but we'll explain that when we get to it. So again, really not a whole lot of strategy here. The entire strategy is just kill Katarn and kill Kara before you kill the turn meters. So we're able to go first, which is super helpful because that way Worthless Guy doesn't get out. Because once Worthless Guy gets out, he starts dispelling our special revive buff, and that's okay, but it's not the best. So we kill Katarn, which is cool. We got Death Mark out as well onto Kara, so she's never coming back. So that's super cool. So we don't have to worry about her like huge stun turn meter reduction. And now we've got the 1 kill, and I'm wondering if we can just keep killing them here, and we end up just doing it. They don't even, Mon Mothma doesn't even get to revive Katarn, so we're donezo there. We go ahead and take in our GG Newt versus Star Killer. And I'll admit, I really don't have this counter down. I mean, as many times as we've used it, I still, when I play this, I don't feel or I don't see a clear path as to what we're supposed to do. I can know the gist of how to like spread target lock and whatnot. But I think kill order is really where I'm lacking. Like you can see right now, this is really sketchy. They've got shock on a few important... You can't see it now, but B2 has shock on, which is a really detrimental debuff for him. And luckily we get these 2 GG AoEs, but we almost lose B2 there. If he wasn't R1, we would have. And yeah, like this whole where to put extortion and what character to kill is also... I'm not super keen on that. So we have everyone with target lock. So we're going after Mara Jade. And like this is weird too. Like we end up pulling the trigger and hitting Star Killer just because he had we could call the massive stun because he had extortion. And at the same time, I kind of like that because it's really good when he's dead. But we still have to worry about Visas because if Visas brings him back, it's gonna be big trouble. Luckily, we killed her, so we didn't have to worry about that. The 59 banners there, that felt pretty good. Again, still. I need to work out how I feel about doing stuff with that counter. So now he has this JMK Padme team. This Padme team really isn't that... Or this Padme team. This JMK team really isn't that bad. It has Cat, which is more or less all that matters. I was a little tempted to use the cheap JMK team, which basically means saving Jedi Knight Luke and Jedi Knight Revan so that we can take down SLKR, be it in the back wall. But he's never... I had a hard time reading this guy. Because he typically left the same defense, but at the same time... It was really pointless to leave or to take SLKR on defense or on offense, basically, because The only thing that he ever takes SLKR and offense for is Lord Vader, and we don't have him. So here's a really pivotal moment. We want to hit Cat, but at the same time, I don't want to hit her and cleanse her, and then she swaps to turn back around to JMK, and everything goes to crap. So we're not hitting her right now. And I think we're just kind of between a rock and a hard place here, because we go to hit her now after she's out of the whatchamacallit, and we can't get her into their version of Savior. She gets damage immunity. So this is bad. This is, as much as we have a great team going against theirs, this is not good. So just trying to control the battle. We're hitting Mace just because we can't hit Cat. Maybe we can at least burn the whatchamacallit on him. So we go back to Cat here. I don't really just want to kill Mace, because at the same time, once we start killing all the characters, Cat starts buffing everyone. So we got our JMY back, but we lose Jedi Revan, and this is not, as long as Cat's still alive, this is getting really, really sketchy. So we were able to take down, or we're able to get another health reduction on it. I really, that health reduction from Jedi Luke, I think is more important than the stun, because then all the protection up that what's-her-face that Padme is giving on the assist doesn't do a huge deal. So this is so sketchy. Jolie almost dies there, almost bites it, just barely hanging on as little R4 self. They get ultimate again, which means they can now hit Jolie outside of JMK, and then we bring back the other two. So this is good, because now we're able to bring back them, and most of them have a higher target priority than Jolie. Like JMY, for whatever reason, has a really high target priority. So does Jedi Knight Revan. So we're, at this point, I just hit auto, because I'm a little worried about the timeout risk here, because Padme and R2 are a pretty nasty combo. Honestly, probably was unnecessary. You can see we killed through them, or we got through them really, really quickly. So I took it off auto here, and I'm just trying to play the banner recover game, which we bring back what's-his-face first, just so we can actually have him here, so we don't lose an extra banner by him not existing. We go ahead and mark JMK, and this long, stressful battle can finally be over as we try to play banner cleanup, which actually did pretty well. Granted, it wasn't the strongest JMK team, but we got a 61. I'll take that. So we have to do with Raid now, and looking back, I'm curious as to if we should have just taken Gas on offense, because I'm pretty sure he would have beat this, and I think he would have beat it for better banners than a lone C would, which is pretty much what we could have expected going into this. So I took in 3 tanks here plus armor just to make sure that we can get JTR dead before she has a shot at putting healing immunity on C. Armor is here for, the obvious reason of the more max health and the protection recovery, which we have no chance without it. So we're able to get that out, and there's really not a whole lot to say about this. We did make sure to go ahead and put Blink on JTR just because she's going to take a lot of turns, because the Sieve is going to be constantly getting bounced down, and then BB-8 also passes more to her, so we'll get ult pretty quick from her being there. And we did raid 2 because I just figured she would take more turns. So again, the whole goal here is to have Ray, or JTR rather, zapped before I lose all my tanks. This is looking pretty good, honestly, at this point. They got through the first ult. Zalbar is actually still taking stuff, even at gear 12, and also not being dark side, which is pretty cool. So he takes the healing immunity. Our armor gets zapped. They get Illuminated Destiny. And it looks kind of sketchy, but ultimately we're able to zap JTR. And at that point, there's nothing they can do. Especially with the armor's buff giving us more health. My C can tank a Ray this strong. And she was modded for full offense, ready for anyone who's wondering. All offense primaries, as well as offense set. So she had, I think, almost 12,000 physical offense, which is, again, standard. But what I'm getting at is we're typically able to tank array of that offense without the extra, I think, 10 or 15% max health that armor gives. So I really, once JTR was zapped, I wasn't worried. We were going to be just fine. We went ahead and linked them up. I'm trying not to kill Zalbar just because I don't want to lose the link here. I figured that would not be great. And of course, she gets to her ult again, but still we're just fine. I actually don't zap them. I don't use the big hit just because I want to get my protection back. And I figured that would be pretty easy to do on Zalbar, and we were just totally right. So then we went ahead and zapped him when the time came. So we got to the back wall. He put a lot of good teams on the back wall. One of them was Iden. This is only Iden. So we just took Wampa here. We didn't get the initial counter on Iden, so it took us a little bit longer to get going than usual, but it didn't really matter. Team's good, but Wampa's just better. Yeah, so we got to this back wall, and I'm looking around, and pretty much the only team that doesn't have tenacity down is Iden. So We just throw Wampa there really without thinking about it, and I don't regret that at all. That was a very good move. But at the same time, he also put SLKR on the back wall, which we kind of, in theory, would have screwed ourselves with by using Jedi Revan, Jedi Luke. But it's SLKR Sith Empire. So it's Darth Revan and Malak in there. So our Jedi wouldn't have worked against it to begin with. So I'm trying to rack my brain, trying to figure out what we're going to use against that. And I'm thinking there's no way Wampa is going to help with that at all, because, you know, Wampa can take a lot of solo GLs, but he can't take solo SLKR just because the 2-turn stun is a 2-turn stun. There's just no way around that. So we go ahead and take him here, but pleasantly surprised what happens with SLKR. Very pleasantly surprised what happens with SLKR. Trying to make sure Death Trooper dies first just because he'll be less damage, but it's... I mean, you can see the amount of damage they're doing with the amount of defense we have. It's nothing. Shore's doing like 4k damage. I think Shore's R8 here actually too. Death is only doing like 6k damage. And we're just hitting them significantly harder than they're hitting us. Iden's doing 2k. Granted, she is undergeared, but still. So we're able to kill Death once. We're able to kill Death twice. And I have said it before, and I'll say it again. I just don't think this team is capable. Wampa against this team is just capable of timing out. There is just way too much offense up. And we just slaughter him. This is a very... This took a lot of math. This took a lot of prep. This took a lot of training. But we bring in this Trooper team versus SLKR. And the reason why we take Gideon is because we learned that SLKR, at least through our 4 attempts, is hard-coded to go after Gideon. So we went ahead and took him in. And we had to take Stark instead of Range because our Range wasn't slow enough to go after Piet. And you can see Hux has about 99% turn meter right now. So we're really playing with fire here. But because they mixed in Sith Empire, or rather just they had a non-full First Order team, we're able to gain turn meter. So once Moff Gideon eats it, and this is where I would have liked to use Shore, by the way. Once he eats it, he gives 5% turn meter to our Piet, and that's enough to put us in front. So right now we're just trying to figure out if we should use the turn meter move. I eventually go in on it. We just use the basic here with Veers because an AoE would proc Darth Revan and then everyone gets feared and then we're stuck behind him. We kill no one and the team's turn meter loaded. And I wasted my troopers for nothing. So instead we just go ahead and use the basic. I'm going to use the basic again here for Dark. And I believe we got the lucky 2-shot with him, which is very nice. We end up killing First Order Stormtrooper, which now the ball is rolling. Now the ball is rolling. We have a chance here. We get defense down Hux. We snipe him in 1 shot. And now here... And I'd honestly still be curious to know what would happen if we went the other way. But I'm contemplating using the mass attack on either SLKR or Malak. Because we're probably going to get stuck behind the Malak taunt no matter what. We're going to get fear. But at the same time, I'm curious to as if 3 hits from Dark would be enough to kill an SLKR. We end up going with probably the safer option here, and that is hitting what's-his-face. We're going to go ahead and just try to punch Darth Revan. See if we can lower SLKR's max health, but he gets fear. I mean, they kill what's-his-face right away, and now we can no longer get stuff from buffs. So we're just kind of hitting Darth Revan, hoping we can kind of kill him. We get really stinking close. Do eventually get him down, but now it's just 2 stacks of Dark versus this little lone SLKR that just takes us out. So we kind of ignore him for the time being. We're just trying again. This stream took so much thinking. I'm getting tired just thinking about it. But then we went ahead again and looked at every single character he had on the field, or rather every team he had on the field, and we're like, all right, can Empire beat any of this? And the answer was no, except this team. So we went ahead and took Empire here. I mean, there's really not a lot of strategies. This team just isn't good. I don't think Bounty Hunters are going to be... We're going to be able to make 2 good Bounty Hunter teams until we get another tank. It's just not a good Bounty Hunter team without Bosk. That's really the big issue. Yeah, we will mop the floor with them. Probably didn't need Tarkin in here, but we took him just in case. At this point, we're not really going for banners. So we got a nice 65 there. That was pretty cool. And then for SLKR, I was almost sure that we were going to have to take in CLS. But I was looking through my roster with what's left, and I'm like, oh, I think this can do it. And I asked chat, and got like immediately 10 responses. Yes, this will work. So I'm like, okay, that's great. CLS can beat one of these other really tough teams. Let's go ahead and take this in. So, we just do our normal thing where we call Cam in, and Cam just kills SLKR, which is great for 41. So this was dumb, but I don't think we had I still, like, looking back, I don't know what our better solution was here. They left a really nasty Qui-Gon Jinn team. That Qui-Gon Jinn team, Jedi Anakin had almost 400 speed, and pretty much the entire team was over 350. So Bad Batch was just a non-option. because they would have killed us. So we let it. We got killed using our own Qui-Gon Jinn. I was hoping maybe we would get somewhere with the mirror, but we didn't. But now they don't have Qui-Gon Jinn lead, so the team should, in theory, be a lot easier to take apart. We go ahead and throw CLS here. This team really didn't worry that much. Make sure to kill Bam first, and that's really all that matters, because he needs like 3 turns to get damage immunity out, and we didn't give him 3 turns, and we're able actually to burn IG down here, just because of the max health damage from Chewbacca, which is pretty cool. Trying to keep Jango from going so he doesn't burn us and keep taking away our banners. Get him down pretty well. We don't do too good on banners, but we do all right. 62. And here comes the Aura match versus Dash. So we've been playing with fire with this counter for a very long time now. We've been going up against Bam teams, we've been going up against Dash teams, we've been going up against Jango teams, where our team is severely undergeared. But at the same time, we've been able to cycle through so many turns, it doesn't really matter. So I know that we're getting the guaranteed kill on Dash, which we get right here just because of how our turn meter and speed works. But now they have 3 pretty decent damage dealers, Vandor, Nest, and Han. Nest of which can ignore our taunt. So we're in hot water here trying to get everyone else down, and we get Vandor pretty darn stinking close. Trying to damage him out, but we're stuck behind L3, so if we keep in L3 is going to cleanse, and then Vandor just is suddenly back in full protection again, which is, it just sucks. So yeah, they're even without Dash, they're still putting up a pretty big fight here. Just trying to buy time so that Mando can get to another Disintegrate. It's kind of working for the most part. And then Han just takes a big hit on Mando. Takes him down, which is not good because, again, this whole match is reliant on him getting the Disintegrate, and Nest has an Ignore Taunt. So we're 1 turn away here. We're 1 turn away from getting our next big hit. Aim back. We're just trying to, again, buy time here. And this Nest actually isn't a slow Nest, which a lot of people leaving as slow for a long time just clocked us. Again, if our Mando wasn't like gear 12 and maybe it was like Relic, I would have had enough defense to tank that hit, or at least tank the first hit from Han. We would have been fine, but gear advantages wasn't enough. So we ended up timing that match out, which is why it ended right in the middle. We're going ahead and going with Bad Batch here now. So for those who haven't been able to keep track, which is fair because it's kind of quite a few lost battles at this point, we have the leftovers of the Qui-Gon Jinn and this team still left to beat. And I'm out of real teams. So at this point, our thinking here is that we can probably just burn Qui-Gon Jinn down, and we will use our last real team on Nest. And this is a little bit tricky here with Nest and Bad Batch. You just have to make sure that you're always avoiding the exposed moves and always putting on the healing immunities, which is exactly what we do in it. It goes fairly well for the most part. So we're able to consistently land healing immunity. We can get a nice stun in there, or make sure to always use the specials with Hunter, which is actually really nice because translation pretty much always gives us back the specials, so we don't have to use the basic and just completely slaughter ourselves. Yeah, we do get stuck here for just kind of annoying because Omega wasn't able to do enough damage at R1, which I guess is kind of expected. We're able to carry the stun. Not going to use the expose, and whack. Got him. So good 44 banners there. I'll take it. And here comes the fun. This is so out of my play style, but now I'm just looking at my entire roster, seeing what can we use to take apart this, Qui-Gon Jinn leftover team. And this team is still super threatening. Because the mods are, he has his best, I think he has his 3 best speed sets in the entire game on this team. On Cam, on Jedi Anakin, on GK. Even without Qui-Gon Jinn here, they're all over 350. It is absolutely bonkers. And on top of that, Cam's unique is essentially a lead. So this is still a very, very real team. We're just trying to take out Jedi Anakin here. Luckily, the team doesn't really have protection recovery for Anakin, so Phasma, very awkwardly enough, just served to get rid of Jedi Anakin's protection, which is kind of sad. And then we're gonna move pretty quickly through these fights, just because there's gonna be a lot of them. So we took in Bounty Hunters next, and this is nice because Boba can ignore taunts, go through Foresight, and at the same time apply healing immunity. So first match, the whole purpose was pretty much to use to get rid of Jedi Anakin's protection, and then the second match was to get rid of Jedi Anakin's health, and then we go ahead and bring in Night Sisters to kill Jedi Anakin. So we're slowly, very, very slowly taking this team apart. We're able to get him down. And Night Sisters, I mean, these are my leftover Night Sisters. I'm not even sure if all these ones are, if all these Night Sisters are geared, or modded, I mean. I know a lot of them aren't geared, so. Luckily, they're smart, or unfortunately, they're smart enough to go after Asajj, which is a bummer. And then Asajj just doesn't assist for the rest of the battle. We keep getting the super crappy geared ones to assist, so that's kind of a bummer. So with that, we were able to take out Jedi Anakin. Our target now is GK, just because we can't get to there too with him there. Cam is really annoying in this. Cam really, really shines throughout all of these battles. So yeah, we're just trying to go after what's his face here. I don't know these guys' kits at all. I don't think I've ever used this team in a real match before. Yeah, we're just trying to get GK down here, and they keep passing us between the taunts, which is annoying. Luckily, Cam shifts and then just kills us, which I guess that's not lucky at all. I think I misplayed a little bit here with like Princess Leia. Probably with everything. This not a team I used before. Should have really committed to GK there, but I think I wanted to avoid the foresight. That's why I didn't do it. It would have been really nice if this team would have been constantly attacking Biggs first, so that he would have gotten a bunch of turns, but they kind of leave him for last year. Captain Han with the big hit to kill GK, so that was pretty cool. You know, hit him for 3K. So we're making progress here. GK is now out of the fight. Don't really want to get countered to death by Cam here, so we just go ahead and start working our way on Ahsoka. Go ahead and bring in this junk Sith team because, you know, for those who don't know, Darth Maul has bonus damage against Jedi, so that's super pertinent. Ahsoka's cleanse continues to be a massive problem here. We want to go after her because our thought is to eventually take in DDK and then just nuke Cam with DDK. We can't take in DDK until their, you know, character that has a dispel and base is dead. So the healing immunity is kind of clutch here. Ayla with the stun is nice as well, just trying to get the healing immunity on her. And now Cam is taunting again, but Sidious has an AoE. He's able to take Ahsoka out, which is very nice. So now it's just the solo Cam. This was exhausting. This was exhausting to do. I know there are some other streamers like Gom and Zara, so this is kind of like their play style. This is not my play style at all. I'm terrible at this. Now we have a solo Cam, but so I was thinking kind of what we typically do with GG here, where we pretty much just turn meter loop him and take him down. The issue here is GG, when you typically fight him, most GGs I think at best like 220 speed. This Cam I think is 330 or something like that, something ridiculous. So we're not able to turn meter loop him, and literally every single basic or every single hit he's getting out is he's gaining back more than he's losing. Yeah, I just went back to pretty much full health there. So my gear 10-ish Ewoks are just not enough to beat, you know, I think Relic 7, maybe Relic 8 Cam here. So we give it our best college try to see if we can just get anywhere with it. But pretty much as soon as we lose one of the Ewoks and we can't even attempt the turn meter, it's game over. Probably should even let this video out. Just for anyone wants to know, this doesn't work. And it takes a while just with the revives to get everyone down, but once he does, he does. I was really hoping for Log right there, but we didn't get him. Trooper's dead now. Still trying to protect Ewok Elder so he doesn't get one shot. Didn't get a lucky revive there. Did lose What's-His-Face. Also got dazed. Yeah, Cam. Cam just doesn't like Ewoks. And there goes Wicket. So then we take in this little number next. And there was actually a fifth character there that got one shot immediately. Don't remember who it was. Not really important. And Krennic is actually pretty I mean, for this very specific situation. Krennic is pretty cool because of the constant ability blocks. He can't be doing any of his big hits. He can't be getting armor shred out. So that's really nice. And then we get him really low, and then DDK finally just nukes him. So this fight, it's going to look a little weird because we had a little bit of connectivity issues in the middle of it, but I still really wanted to keep this fight because this is literally the only copy of this fight that I have. So we were using our Empire versus Negotiator. He left both Negotiator and Executor, which is pretty common nowadays. in there, and he didn't have an R8 GK, so that was really nice. So we're able to use Vader here. So we go ahead and call the interceptor, and we target 5s. Yeah, now, so what was missed here, that little blip there, was we killed Jedi Anakin. We just kept targeting him because we had the Ruthless Pursuit, I want to say is the name of our, whatchamacallit guys, the interceptors. Yeah, it's not really a debuff. The blue stat he puts out on him. So we're able to gun him down. And then pretty much, I've said it before, and once Jedi Anakin is off this team, it's fodder. Like, they just rip right through it. So it's going pretty well. Really not a whole lot to say. We go ahead and nuke Ahsoka there. Probably shouldn't have healed Bomber. Probably should have healed maybe the Interceptor, but I was not thinking at this point. So we got this one down sooner or later, but we got it down. The next fight against Executor, we took in a burner. And I'm not going to show the burner because it was a 5-minute fight because we had to wait it out. But basically, we took in Radis, and we let them use all their specials. So now we can come with Finalizer, and they should just have no specials here. Also, we actually took a Negotiator and killed someone off, so apparently that fight didn't make it in. So yeah, this is our third match on Executor. Didn't include the first one. First one might have been when we had connectivity issues, and that might be why it's not here. Yeah, we were able to kill off both the other 2 bounty hunters with Negotiators, so that was nice. The Finalizer doesn't have a huge issue here. We did like 1 damage to Houndstooth there because of the stacking defense or something like that. Not quite sure. Yeah, we're able to get him down pretty well. I think the last move they had was also the AoE. So we were able to come in here and just do a lot of damage. Whole lot of damage. And luckily, because Executor's AI is now, I honestly think Executor's AI is worse with the heal they did to him, because every single time that we fought in Executor, they've always chosen to heal, like, really the incorrect character, in my opinion. They've always gone to heal someone else when they really should have made Houndstooth taunt. So Houndstooth is hunted. He's not getting any turn meter, even though we're pretty much wailing our way, or wailing on the other characters there, the other ships, rather. So things are going pretty well overall. We got double hunted out, which is pretty cool. Never really did that. And yeah, from here, it's really not a lot they can do. Just because we have we got rid of their whatchamacallit. So that was the match. We ended with a 1598. Honestly, I'm against this opponent, against what he did with his mods, against what he put down. We played this super well. Like, I'm sure we lost. That sucks. But I'm happy with this. I'm content. I'm proud of the amount of progress we made. With what we were able to do against what he put down. Because what he put down was not easy. I probably could have rearranged things a little bit to maybe do a little bit better. I think some of my decisions probably were not the best. Particularly taking in our full Qui-Gon Jinn team to go against their Qui-Gon Jinn team just to only kill Jedi Anakin. So that probably wasn't the smartest idea, but it is what it is. He did fail a couple of times, but not nearly enough as we did, or as much as we did. So he failed against our Gear 12 Treya there. No idea what. He might have just been goofing around, because he beat us by over 60 banners. So we would have had to have taken back more than 3 of our fails, which was a very small portion of them. Then he had to 3-shot Executor too, which probably wasn't hard. He might have used a burner as well. I don't know. Yeah, that is going to be it for today, guys. We did really, really, really well. Very proud of it. Remember to like and subscribe on the channel. And just in case anyone was wondering, we did end 723rd place in JC, which means we got more crystals. We're top 1,000 for K1. That's pretty cool. Thanks again for watching, guys. And as always, stay awesome.